ABC Jack here. Welcome to Vinyl Martini. Going to show some dollar finds. Picked these up at Apollo Records, which is in Port Coquitlam, BC. Before I start, I want to give a big thank you to Rob Walker. Rob must have given me a shout out in one of his videos. I appreciate it. My subscriber level went up substantially, so thank you for that, Rob. I know you had the week off. I haven't seen a video in a while. Hope your hip's feeling better. And again, thank you for mentioning me. Okay, first up, Red Sylvine. The late, great Red Sylvine. This is called Classic Narrations. Red Sylvine is he's not a singer. He's a country writer who narrates all his songs. He has a talking style with a musical background. If you don't like country music, you could point to this guy and say, that's why I don't like country music. He's maudlin, he's sentimental, but he wrote Phantom 309, which it might be familiar to some of you because Tom Waits covered it in his Nighthawks on the Diner album. Great cover, and listen, if Red Sylvine is good enough for Tom Waits, he's good enough for me. Next up, a couple of Buck Owens records. This one, You're For Me, 1962. Look at that back picture of him. Nice crew cut. Second record, I think. And this is Buck Owens in London, live with the Buckaroos at the London Palladium. I think about 1964 or 1965. A little band called the Beatles covered his Act Naturally on one of their early albums. Great guy. Next up, Glenn Campbell, Galveston. A really nice copy of this. Still in the shrink, as people say. He does, of course, Galveston, which is written by Jimmy Webb. He does another Jimmy Webb song called Where's the Playground Susie? Love Jimmy Webb. He wrote MacArthur Park, which was Richard Harris's big hit. Great artist. Next up, some Charlie Rich records. First up, Sun's Best of Charlie Rich. I rarely show labels, but I was kind of excited to get this one. It's on the Sun label. It's my first. Charlie Rich started off in Sun Records, along with Johnny Cash and Elvis Presley. He was a rockabilly guy. And rockabilly is really just country with the twang, isn't it? Next up, Charlie Rich's Boss Man on Epic Records. And a later album from Charlie, The Fool Strikes Again. Piano, Hargus Pig Robbins is playing piano on this. And Robbins did the piano on Behind Closed Doors, Charlie's really big hit. That record, Behind Closed Doors, is a great record, by the way. Next up, my first Charlie Pride record. Great voice. Man, this guy must have had a lot of guts. Black man fighting for a toehold in the white world of country music. Nice. This one is Norma Jean. Didn't know anything about her. It was just a blind buy. Did a little bit of digging on her. She was Porter Wagner's partner before Dolly Parton joined him. But the titles of these songs really grabbed me. Like Jackson Ain't a Very Big Town, You Ain't Woman Enough, Your Alibi Called Today, From Church to the Barroom, and Don't Let That Doorknob Hit You. Looking forward to listening to that. Chris Christopherson with Rita Coolidge. I've got almost everything Chris has released as a solo artist. This is my first dual album. I love Chris, and sadly, he just retired from the music business. It's been coming for a while. I think he's got Alzheimer's or dementia. Very sad. Next up, somebody that most of you probably won't be familiar with, and I'm not that familiar with. This is Sneezy Waters and the Excellent Band, and the album is called You've Got Stardust on the Floor of Your Heart. He's kind of a a Canadian country alt guy. He used to do a cabaret theater thing in the 70s called Hank Williams, The Show He Never Gave, about the show that Hank Williams was supposed to give on the night that he died. And by all accounts, it was a great show. Unfortunately, I never saw it, but I'm looking forward to listening to this. Like $1. Couldn't let that go. Next up, Jerry Jeff Walker, Viva Terlingua. Probably not saying that right, but this is recorded, half of it's live, I think, recorded in Lubbock, Texas. Half of them are studio recordings, but he's playing with the Los Gonzo Band here. Gary P. Nunn's on here. Kelly Dunn, Robert Livingston, Michael McGeary. Great band. This is an excellent record. I already have the original. I've had it since 1973. The original is a gatefold. I couldn't pass this up for $1. This is going to be a gift for one of my friends. Next up, some country rock from the Southern Hillman Furry Band. Chris Hillman, of course, from the Byrds. Richard Ferre from Neil Young's band. I'm having a brain freeze. Anyways, haven't listened to this, but produced by Tom Dowd. Should be pretty good. Next up, Blue River from Eric Anderson. It's this is his first record on Columbia, I think. He did a few other records on Vanguard. He didn't record very many records, but this one is a classic singer-songwriter, country, folk album. Happy to pick that up. Next up, a couple of Joan Armour Trading albums. Me, Myself, and I from 1980. And Joan Armour Trading The Key from, what's the date here, 1983. I bought her first record probably in about 1978. She's a fine guitar player, a great vocalist. I think she is British with a Jamaican background, I think, and I think she's based in the United States. Every time I see a record of hers that is priced cheaply, I pick it up because it's always good quality. And yeah, I really enjoy it. Next up, a couple of Steve Forbert records. This is Steve Forbert's first record called Alive on Arrival. I already have a copy of this. I didn't realize that, but this will be another gift. And Steve Forbert is a singer-songwriter, folky kind of guy, folky country kind of guy. And unfortunately, at the very beginning of his career, he was labeled the next Bob Dylan. You know, that's a career killer right there. But fine record. And his next record, I think, was called Jack Rabbit Slim from 1979. Another fine record. $1 again. I couldn't let that go. Next up, another one of my favorite recording artists, Jesse Winchester. Not very well known. Jesse, I think he recorded his first record in 1975. He was a draft dodger. Moved to Montreal and started recording. His first record is great. Black Dog, Yankee Woman, fantastic songs. This is from 1978. It's on Bearsville. Another Jesse Winchester album called Learn to Love It. This is, it doesn't have a date on here, but probably in the 80s. Another great song. He's a great songwriter, great singer, great guitarist. And Jesse Winchester, Nothing But a Breeze, 1977. Glad to have those in my collection. Picked up a Dave Mason record. Dave Mason, formerly of Traffic. He's had a long solo career. I don't know about this one. A lot of strings and stuff on this. I haven't listened to it yet, but hey, for $1, I'll give it a shot. Next up, somebody most of you won't be familiar with. This is Ray Materick, an album called Midnight Matinee. I've got his first record. This was his second record, and Ray Materick is from Ontario, in the Toronto area. But he was the first Canadian artist to be signed to Asylum Records, so that was a big deal in those days. This is also on Asylum Records. Singer-songwriter, country, middle-of-the-road kind of guy. Good songwriter. Nice to have that. This Tom Rush record. This is a great, great record. Tom Rush is, Tom Rush from Connecticut, or is he from New Hampshire? I'm not sure. Probably New Hampshire. But this is his the 1972 release. I don't think it's his first release. Might be his second release. Listen to this the other night. This is really fine. Nice stuff. It's called Merrimack County. Next up, Jose Feliciano, his finest performances, $1. Jose is a great guitar player, great singer. Does Light My Fire's on here. Susie Q, Wichita Linesman is on here. California Dreaming. Great versions of those songs. I already have this, but this is going to be a gift for a buddy. Nice to have that. Next up, Gary U.S. Bonds. This is shown once in a while in the VC. It's $1. It's got the hype sticker on it. It was produced by Bruce Springsteen, Miami Steve Van Zandt, Gary Bonds, Lanny Lambert, and Rob Parisi. Nice to have that. New Jersey sound, Ashbury Park kind of deal. Nice. Next up, Rod Stewart, Never a Dull Moment. One of his earlier records, not his earliest, but probably right before he moved to the States. Nice condition. Happy to have it. Next up, Babe Ruth, a British band. It's on Harvest. Some of you might be familiar with their record called First Base, which was a big hit in Canada. So, man, I worked in a record store, and the thing just flew off the shelves. Yanita Jenny Hahn is the vocalist on there. She's a tiny little girl. I've seen them live. They're a fantastic show. A tiny thing, powerful vocalist. Alan Shatlock, Ed Spevak, Dave Hewitt, and Steve Girl. Nice find. Picked this up on spec. Shakin' Stevens. Did a little bit of research. The name was familiar. Didn't jog any memories, but I noticed later on when I got it home, he's a rockabilly star, by the way. British rockabilly star, and he does a copy of Green Door, which is just fantastic. And doing some reading about him, he was the biggest selling singles artist in Britain in the 80s. So a lot of records kind of just disappeared from view. He's still touring, still making records. Nice to have that. An album called Amesbury. This guy is it's Bill Amesbury. He's a Toronto guy. This is a 1976 recording. It's funny, I'm from Toronto and I've never heard of this guy. Did a little bit of research on him, and he in 1980 he transitioned, and he's now known as Barbara Amesbury. He's not a musician anymore. I thought that was a little bit interesting. It's probably going to be a pop rock record. $1. Oh Lucky Man. This is a soundtrack to Lindsay Anderson's Oh Lucky Man. It's an album, or it's a movie that starred Malcolm McLaren. But Alan Price does the soundtrack. Alan Price was the keyboard player for the Animals. He's got a little combo, so there's not very much atmospheric music. They're all songs. Colin Green, Dave Marquis, Clive Thacker. A friend of mine had this, and we used to listen to it all the time. And I always loved it, so happy to find it for $1. Next, Sutherland Brothers and Quiver, kind of a album-orientated rock British band. I've had one of their records for a long time. I see them all the time. I just picked this up because it was $1. It's not, I don't expect too much of it. I haven't listened to it, but it should be okay. Next up, Guitar Piano by Giovanni Liberatory. So classical guitarist. I've been trying to beef up my strictly acoustic guitar albums with no vocals on it. I find it very soothing. I love acoustic guitar. Looking forward to listening to that. It was only $1. And last, Tales of Mystery and Imagination by, let me start that again. It's Tales of Mystery and Imagination, Edgar Allan Poe, and it's the first album from the Alan Parsons Project. I've been listening to them lately. Their other records, quite enjoyable. I never used to listen to them back in the day. I thought that was just too slick. But this is a 1976 album. It's on the Charisma Records, so happy to have that, and for only $1, pretty good shape. Happy to have it. So there you have it. Whoa, that's a lot of records. So thanks for watching. If you're still with me, I'm still looking for subscribers. Please hit the subscribe button. And listen, leave a comment. I love comments. I answer all my comments, and good or bad. If you like these records, if you hate these records, just let me know. Anyways, till next time, thanks for watching. I'm Jack. See you later.